Okay, this is now the 5 Minute Tarot for the 15th of June 2017. And I want to say first that I don't think that anybody else is doing with the tarot what we're doing here. And I think that in time, the tarot is going to become important and recognized for what it actually is and what it actually can do. And this means that you can tell your grandchildren that you were there in the beginning, because I think that we can develop it into something really important. And I say we, and I mean you, because even though I make the videos, some of it, the content and the direction, is because of what the questions that you ask or the comments that you make. Or maybe you send me an email and people have done this and they've told me what they tried and what didn't work, and that takes us in a certain direction, and also uncovers things that were hidden because you ask questions, or because the thing is, I don't think of what you think of, and so the comments that you leave and the emails and the discussion that we have is all important, and it's all part of this channel. But I think that give it a little bit of time, and the tarot is going to sort of come into its own and be recognized for its ability to uncover what's important and what's going on with situations. And I think we get that idea from, or you can get that idea, and you can agree with it from recent videos where we talk about cards and what they might be indicating. So anyway, you can tell your grandchildren that you were there at the start. Anyway, so today, the main point is it's about reading cards. So if you had a natal chart or a horoscope to somebody who thinks they know astrology, the first thing they'll do is they'll pick an aspect, which is two planets that are in connection with each other. They can be opposite, they could be 90 degrees from each other, and so on. And each aspects have a particular significance. So they'll say, oh, you've got the Sun opposite Saturn, and this means blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, because you've got the aspect, some of what they say will make sense. It may be 1% valid and true. It may be 99% valid and true. So what they say is going to, you even if it's a 1%, you'll agree with it, because it's kind of true, but it may not be that relevant. So the point I want to make, and I think I made it in the astrology courses at astrologyinaction.org, and I think there's a link down below. A chart doesn't tell you anything until you ask it a question. And that's the important bit for horoscopes. And in the same way, I kind of want to say a card doesn't mean anything until you ask it a question. So, as an example, if you take the sun, you can look at the sun and it's good and optimistic and confident and full of energy and going places, and it's a card of victory because the child's holding a banner which represents victory, and so on. So if somebody says, who am I? Tell me about the person I'm going to marry, and you get the sun, you can talk about how this is an optimistic, confident person, and because it's the sun, the marriage is probably going to go well, right? Because a good card. Whereas if you get the devil reverse for who am I going to marry, you're probably going to say it's not very good. It's not going to be very good, because you look at the nature of the devil, the man and the woman chained, and it's upside down. So you'd be less in favor of marrying the devil reverse person than you would be to marry the sun upright person. But if you think about it, the question was, tell me about the person I'm going to marry, not tell me about what I can expect from marriage. So if you're going to marry somebody and you get the sun, This is the person who is the life and soul of the party, who is childlike, who is enthusiastic. And people have lower standards for the sun person than they do for an adult, because if you've got a 5-year-old, you let the 5-year-old away with stuff you wouldn't let a 25-year-old off with. So the way people look at the sun person is different from the way you look at an adult. You expect more of the adult. You don't expect that much of the child of the sun card. So that's who you're going to marry. So if you, the questioner, want to be top dog and want to run things, you're going to have trouble with the sun, because the sun naturally wants to run things and wants to be in charge. So if you want to be in charge and you marry the sun, there's a battle and there's going to be a conflict. So what you need to do if you want this marriage to work is discuss this with the person beforehand and make sure that you know that you want to be in charge sometimes, and the other person knows that you want to be in charge sometimes, and you set things up so that you both are able to be top dog, maybe turn about, but at least you don't go into the marriage thinking that you're going to be in control and you end up with this person who's always in control. So you can turn the sun card and think this is going to be good, but actually if you think about it, if you think about the question, you can realize that there's more to it than just, yes, it's going to be good. And in the same way, or in a similar kind of approach, if the person is going to marry, if the question is, who am I going to marry, and you get the devil reversed, you're going to marry somebody who is, let's say, negative, who feels trapped and who feels helpless, because they're the devil, so they're trapped, but it's upside down, so they're not only trapped, but they don't like it and they feel helpless. And this is the kind of person, you probably know some people where you can't just be real with them. You've got to tiptoe around on eggshells because they're so touchy that you can easily say something totally innocent, but they take it the wrong way, and they always take everything the wrong way. So you can be nice to them and they're suspicious. What are you after? What are you trying to do to manipulate me? Or else, if you do something horrible to them, well, what more could I expect? I knew you were going to do that anyway. So they can be very difficult. So if you, the questioner, can be happy or are willing to accept somebody, maybe they've got lots of money, so you don't mind putting up with their bad temper or bad mood or their negativity, because they're going to buy you a nice house and you're going to live in a nice neighborhood. So it can be a trade-off. But if you're looking for somebody you want to help you achieve things in your life, or who when you get down and when you get low, you want them to be able to help you come out of a depression, or I say depression, but it can be some just feeling that you can't manage it. If you want somebody to help you get better or help you get stronger, it's not going to work with the devil reversed person. So again, if you think of it, that the card, it kind of does tell you something on its own, but it's important to remember the question and to think about what's the next step after it's the sun, so it's good. What else does it mean? Or what does it mean for the questioner? Or what kind of situation is it going to give rise to that the questioner may not want to have to deal with? And the same with the devil reversed. At first glance, it doesn't look good. But if you examine it, if you take the different characteristics of the devil reversed and look at each one individually, each characteristic on its own, and see how that can, or what kind of impact that characteristic will have on the relationship, you discover that it's important with the devil reversed that the person goes into the relationship with a plan or with an idea or with some method for dealing with the negativity that is there and strong and pronounced in the potential marriage partner. That was it about. So the point is, remember the question. Okay. Thanks for watching. And I've been watching a couple of YouTube videos, and people always say, if you like the video, subscribe and give it a thumbs up. So I'm copying everybody else and saying, if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and give it a thumbs up. I don't know why. Probably because then YouTube will think it's a better video. I don't know. Anyway, so I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.